Who knew that you could make mandalas with Photoshop? I had no idea. For some reason, I looked it up on YouTube yesterday, and yes, you can make mandalas using Photoshop, and it's really simple and fun and quite addictive, and it's a waste of time as well, but a good waste of time, fun waste of time. So I had a play yesterday, and this was the second one that I came up with. Very simple to use, and I'm going to show you guys how to use it. So what we would do is we're going to create ourselves a new background. We'll go to File, New. I already have a square created here because it was one that I made yesterday, so it's just in there. But should you want to make, you don't have the option to do that. You can make your own by just clicking in here, the width and the height and your resolution that you want. And obviously a square, you just make them the same dimension. So we'll create that. And we have a blank canvas now to work on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the brush tool. It's actually already selected over here. Just going to make sure that I have black and white selected down here. So I just click this little icon here and it's made it black and white. We will go up to this little butterfly, which I honestly have been using this program for God knows how many years. I don't know when that butterfly came along, but there's a butterfly there for symmetry. And if I click Mandala, I will select 10 segments and it will create this for me. So these are just guidelines. They're not actually on your background layer. Just going to enlarge this a little bit so I can see where it's going and centralize it again. Now we will then click back onto our brush tool, make sure that's selected. You can actually change, if you don't want to use black, let's say you want to make your lines in a different color, you just click the black there and then you select whichever color you want. So you might want to go with blue or red or whatever. For now, I'm just going to use black. And then if you pop up here, you will need to be sure that you have selected a hard round brush and the hardness is set on 100, and then the size you can change according to what kind of size you would like to use for your mandala. So 44 is going to be much thicker. Maybe that's something that you want to use. For me, that's a bit too thick. So I'm just going to click Command Z on my Mac and that'll get rid of those. Or you can always go to your history and click back on here to get rid of something that you've done. So to change your brush size, you can just go into this option here and lower your brush size. The other way of doing that is clicking the square bracket keys on your computer. So the right side will make the brush bigger, the left side will make the brush smaller. So I'm going to go back down to about 10 here, and I'm just going to make some shapes really. So I'm just moving my fingers on the mouse pad and I haven't taken it off, so this is all one stroke. So because it's all one stroke, there's only one history here. So I can either Command Z on my laptop or just click back on the history and it gets rid of it. Then if I do one and then do another and then do another, you can see that it's 3 different brush strokes. So each time I've taken my finger off my mouse pad, which is a good thing to get into, because if you do want to, if you've made a mistake, let's say, and it's one mistake, the last thing you did, you can literally just go back and get rid of it. But if you keep your finger on the tool and make lots of movements, and then, oh, I just made a little bump that I didn't like, you can't get rid of it, let's say, so you would have to go back and get rid of everything. So just something to think about. Let's just zoom in a little bit and see what we can create. So sometimes it goes a little bit wobbly and you want to start again. Sometimes it comes out nice, but it's so easy to, if you don't like something, it's so easy to go back and change it. Sometimes something looks good, sometimes it doesn't. And then say, for example, you do make a mistake. So say, oops, say I did that, but I like this line, but I don't like these lines. What I could do is I currently have black selected, but I could swap these around here and make sure white's on the top, or I could click the X on my keyboard and that'll switch my color from black to white. And then if I just zoom in a little bit, using my brush with white, I'm going to make the brush size a little bit bigger. Just make sure that it's on 100% opacity. And you can just get rid of something that you've made a mistake with. And because it's all symmetrical, the great thing is it does it on everything, so you don't have to do it on anything separate. So it's got rid of those lines on all of the, oops, I made a mistake, just Apple Z that. So there, I've just got rid of those lines that I didn't like. And then I can keep going. Now I'm on, remember, if you start writing and you can't see anything, then obviously you've left the white on. So you want to click back to black, just click X on your keyboard and you're back to black. And let's say you want to change the color for whatever reason and you want to start working in another color. I clicked on the black here, the top color, whichever that might be, and it will open this color picker, and then you can select a color and you can draw with another color. Sometimes you make a shape that you don't like, didn't like that one, we'll get rid of it. The other thing you can do, let's see if we can make a little circle to close that off. Okay, the other thing that you can do is you can make dots as well. So let's go back to black. I'm just going to enlarge my brush. Now the thing with dots is if you're a little bit off center, they're not going to be circular. They're going to be kind of an oblong shape. So let's undo that. So you need to be sure that you're kind of on these guidelines here, the blue guidelines, and you will get a nice circular dot. If you want to do one that's here, you have to kind of imagine that there's another line there. If you're slightly off, you're going to get double dots or an oblong kind of dot. But if you judge it, you know, if you just imagine that there's a line going through there, then you will get a nice circular dot there. If these lines are annoying you, you can get rid of them, so you can hide symmetry and the blue lines will disappear. That's an option. Then you can also fill certain areas with color. So that won't work symmetrically, so that won't do that automatically all the way through your mandala. So let's pick a color. I'm going to select the color that we've already used, and you would have to do that individually on each little section that you want to color in. Okay. And then let's just make this smaller. I'm going to go back to black here. And then you can also do lines inside the shapes that you've made. Obviously this is the kind of thing you might want to zoom into so that you're not going over the edges. I made a little mistake there, in which case I would have to take my brush tool, click on the black, and not use a white brush this time because it's on a blue background. You can use this little tool that comes up and it will pick the exact color of this background. So it picks that blue, you click OK. And where's my brush? There it is. And then you would just try and erase anything that you want to get rid of. There we go. And I will go back to black again. What else can we do just to show you? Oh, I missed one of these out, so I'm just going to take the paint bucket tool again. I will need that blue colour and just fill that. It could fill that too. I know, I'm guessing that the possibilities are endless. I literally have only used it since yesterday, and this is my third one that I'm making. So I'm sure there's lots more that I haven't figured out yet. Make a straight line. Oh, no. If you want to make a straight line, you can do that by holding the shift key. There we go. It keeps it straight rather than going over the lines. Let's just hide that blue symmetry line. Okay, that's what we have so far. As I say, I'm just playing around and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work. What you can then do is also add a gradient to it. So I'm not sure, because we don't have much here, I'm not sure if it'll work, but let's try. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate the background to make a layer. So I'm dragging my background down to this plus sign, which duplicates it. And now it's a layer rather than a fixed background. I will double click, not on the letters, off the letters. If you double click on the letters, it will want you to change the name. So double click off the letters and it brings up some layer styles. You click gradient overlay and then it will add a gradient onto your mandala. And I have this set to lighten. If it's on normal, you're just going to get a wodge of colour. So you need to set it to the correct blending mode. So I have it on lighten. And then if you click in here, this is the gradient picker. You have lots of predetermined gradients. So we've got blues, lots of different kinds of blues here that you can use. Purples. You can also make your own selection of colours. You have pastels, you have neutrals, you have all sorts of things going on here. So if you double click in the gradient colour here, you can then create your own gradient colours. So I would then click on the little square here, make my own selection. Okay. And then click on the other square on the other side. We can pick blue. And then if you want to add one, I believe you can add. Maybe not. I can't remember how to add one. So yeah, you just double click. That's it. And you just double click on there and it will add another colour. So yeah, it's a bit funky, but hey, gives you the idea of what's going on. Yeah, so literally if you want to keep adding colours, you just double click on here and it will give you the option to add another colour to your gradient and just go psychedelic. Okay, now if you don't like that, you can delete this layer just by dragging it down to the trash icon in the layers palette, or you can just click off the eye and get rid of it. We will delete that one. And I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to show you. Trying to think if there's anything else to show you guys before I sign off. Any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you. Bye.